This is the fifth and final part in this series on getting started with generative AI. We've looked at the difference between classical AI and generative AI. Essentially, generative AI can create novel responses. You don't have to script everything. But it also means it's hard to get started with because we need data. We need to understand what customers want and tune and train the models to respond in the right way so they don't make things up and they don't get us into trouble. So we talked about getting started by deploying an NLU call routing system that asks, how can I help? So you can see what customers really want when they call you. And likewise on the website, we said deploy an FAQ chatbot that asks, how can I help? So you can see exactly what people want when they come to your website. And now we can use that flow of data to drive our generative AI strategy. A great way to do that is using the value irritant matrix. This was invented by one of the top VPs of customer experience at Amazon, and it involves looking at each of the types of things that people ask you about through your website and through your NLU call routing application, and trying to decide from the perspective of the customer, is this an irritant they would really rather not have to come to your website or call you to deal with this problem? Or is it valuable? This is really helping them, giving them satisfaction, giving them a great impression of your brand. And also from the business perspective, you need to understand, is this an irritant, something that's costly, that's not really driving value for the business, that's hard to handle? Or is it valuable, an opportunity to engage, upsell or retain your customers? And by looking at each of the types of things that customers ask via your website or via your NLU call routing application, you can decide where do they fit on a 4x4 matrix. And that matrix can help you decide which of the things are valuable to you, but your customer doesn't really want to do them. So just make them so simple that the customer hardly notices. What's really irritating to you and to your customer? Fix it. Eliminate the source of the contact. What is it that's important to your customer, but a bit of an irritant to you? Automate it so your customer can get what they need, but it's not a distraction or cost your business. And then importantly, what are those things that are valuable to you and valuable to your customer? You need to leverage, you need to encourage those interactions. Often that means having agents answer those and empowering those agents to have really successful discussions with your customers. And the great thing is that generative AI and classical conversational AI can help with all four of these quadrants. And so that's the secret to getting started with generative AI. Deploy an FAQ chatbot, deploy NLU call routing, and look at the data that flows. Then use the value irritant matrix to decide what's the right treatment for each of those contact types, or each of the different things that customers are approaching you for. And then use a combination of classical conversational AI and generative AI to augment the capability of your human agents to deliver amazing customer service. That's how to get started with generative AI.